Okay, so it is Friday, and I thought we would have a little bit of fun to close out the week here and talk about the PSP 5G handheld. Yes, that's right. There's an article written about this, a few of them actually, and I think this kind of came about after T3 posted their article mentioning the PS5 Pro, but also mentioning the PSP 5G because a lot of it was tied to a patent about a multiple GPU setup for a system that appears to me anyway to be an early concept for the PS5 if it indeed was going to launch a year early and the technology from AMD was not ready yet. Went over this entire thing in a news wave, but let's go over here to this article. You can see it says PSP 5G handheld could challenge the mighty Nintendo Switch. So you know we have to read this one. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure the like button down below helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe. Let's start off here. It says the PS5 has caused many gamers around the world to lose their minds with excitement, though it's news of a PSP 5G handheld that has the retro dodo team's ears quivering. Regular readers may already know that the Nintendo Switch 2, dubbed the Nintendo Switch Pro, is hot on the heels of the Sony and Microsoft next-gen consoles. I don't know about that one necessarily. There have been rumors around a Switch revision. People have speculated that it's a very powerful Switch revision. I don't necessarily believe it is. I think it's more of a refinement of the Switch that we already have, but I do think there is new hardware coming next year. Yes, that is something I would agree with. Nintendo Switch 2, though, being a Pro, I don't know about that one. But they say, but falling behind in the graphics race isn't the only thing that Ninty needs to worry about. News of a new Sony PSP 5G handheld has been gaining traction ever since the PS5's release, which could mean the end of the Nintendo Switch's reign. Now they go on to say everything we know about the PSP 5G, but what they really do is talk about what the PSP is and give backstory on that for a little while, the PlayStation Portable from 2005, and then they talk about how the PSP 5G would work. And I think this is where it would fall apart for everyone anyway, even if Sony announced this thing and it was real. Check this out. The PSP 5G is rumored to be a cloud-based gaming platform. Rather than slotting in a whole host of games, the PSP 5G will seamlessly stream games from a cloud-based server. I'm not talking about the clouds that God of War chills out on, sure, all that. 5G networks run as silky smooth as water off a Psyduck's back, and gamers will have the ability to play their favorite games lag-free on the bus, in the park, or under the desk at work. So, one, I don't know if cloud gaming through 5G is really that great necessarily. I mean, there's going to be lag for cloud gaming at all right now. Like if you play xCloud, there is lag. If you play Stadia, there is lag. You will notice it at times because there are also hiccups and all of this while you're playing. So it's not perfect still. We all understand that. But I don't really know why Sony would develop a system or a handheld that would be completely reliant on the cloud, because why wouldn't they just create an app that you just play on your phone through their cloud-based service and leverage all the other cell phones out there? I mean, the only thing I can think of is that they want to have full control over the actual controls that you have. So if you're playing on this device, they know that you have physical buttons set up and all of this, but just the same, they could say, hey, sync up a DualSense controller, and then you can play these games on your phone. Or maybe, hey, they would bring back the Xperia Play line. That would make more sense than making a PSP 5G system. Do that. Make another cell phone. So what does this mean? Well, at the moment, not a lot right now. There you go. We're deep in speculation territory at the moment, but it's interesting to think where this cloud-based 5G gaming network could lead. Again, I don't really know why Sony would create a handheld if they're not all in on actually creating software for it and just making it as a device that you could access their servers with, when we already have that in like our cell phones. The PSP 5G itself is redundant right away. The only company that would make sense currently to do this, maybe Microsoft, because they at least are the ones running xCloud, their servers, all of this stuff is all theirs, and it's a service that they really would like to push. But even Microsoft is teaming up with Samsung and basically devices that you already have in front of you, because it's less work for you to just download an application. So I just don't see why Sony would go, well, we have to make a PSP 5G. How else would they access our cloud-based servers and play these games? It's not like they have cell phones. What does this mean for Nintendo? We already believe that the Nintendo Switch Pro is a home console only. It's interesting. That means that Nintendo will lose their ranking as the best-selling console and indeed the best handheld console of the past few years. Of course, that's just a theory. Yeah, that's about right. The PS5 Pro may eventually share cloud-based gaming subscriptions with the PSP 5G, but the original Switch still holds the accolade of being the only handheld home console hybrid to date. Should they start worrying? I don't think so quite yet. So there's already a streaming service for Sony, obviously, PlayStation Now. It's not great. Like, the image quality isn't very good. The responsiveness isn't great. It's certainly towards the bottom when it comes to performance overall for streaming. The service itself, though, if you're playing on a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 4 and you can download the games, there's actually a lot to offer there. Like, there are quite a few games on that service, including PS2 games, by the way. But having them stream to a device they create specifically for that is just weird. And it wouldn't affect the Switch at all because the Switch would be able to play without a connection. So I don't see it. I don't really know why a PSP 5G would exist. I do believe that Sony messed around with it and thought of it. And yeah, this could be something. And then, as it is with a lot of patents, got shelved, got put away. They filed for it, made sure they were covered under the law and all this stuff to make sure that they weren't going to have it stolen from them, anything that they came up with in terms of process. And then that was kind of it. And I wouldn't mind Sony making another handheld. The problem they run into is kind of the same problem Nintendo ran into. Developing games for two different platforms is hard. Like, it's very hard. I mean, we saw what happened with Nintendo when they had the Wii U and the 3DS, and they were splitting their development time up, and the Wii U went through some pretty bad droughts for a while there. It's just they were focusing more on the 3DS then, and Sony ran into the same thing with the Vita. They forgot about that very quickly because the PS4 took off, and it was like, why are we going to develop games specifically for the Vita when we can take that time and put it towards the PS4 that is clearly moving units much faster than the Vita? So you take that, you split it up between two different platforms, and both of them probably will suffer unless you have just a ridiculous amount of third-party support and just overall first-party production. And even for Sony, with all the third-party support they get, it was tough. And the Vita, well, we saw what happened with that one. But I always hold out hope for the next Vita. I think it would be really cool to see it, especially now in 2020 or 2021 with how technology has advanced since that Vita launched in the early, 2010, 2011. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below with the PSP 5G handheld challenging the mighty Nintendo Switch. I don't really see it, but who knows? We've seen some crazy and wild things happen in the world of games. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.